All right, it's 8 o'clock, so she's expected to show up at any time. Oh, that was Medea is right on time. Wow, Medea, that like right as the clock struck 8 o'clock, you showed up. So Medea, welcome to the show. If you'd like to turn on your camera, you can turn on your camera. If you'd prefer just audio, you can do it either way. We definitely welcome you, and everyone was very excited to having you. You're already TikTok famous. You don't even need an introduction. Everybody knows you, loves you, and we do like a live show. We show your videos at least like twice a week where you're confronting politicians in Congress and even confronting APAC and everything. Like, brilliant, absolutely wonderful. Medea, welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Wonderful to be on with you, Eric.
So I seen you on June 8th, and you know what I really like too is that you were running around taking pictures with everybody, giving speeches and everything too. So that was very cool of you, and we super appreciate you. We're gonna have a whole bunch of people come and ask you some questions and everything like that. I have the first question for you. I wanted you to tell us a little bit of your experience in the flotilla, because you were a big part of that flotilla episode.
Well, I'm sitting next to one of the key organizers here, Ann Wright, so I'm going to bring her over to give you an update about the flotilla, and this is information that nobody else knows, so you're getting an exclusive.
Hi, my name's Ann. I'm one of the organizers, and I have the shirt Break the Siege, which is what we're trying to do at the flotilla. We are still in the midst of getting flags for the ships, but we're coming close, and we're coming close to have a date to call all of our participants to a point in the Mediterranean where we will sail again to break the illegal Israeli blockade of Gaza. Thank you.
But wait, before you go, Ann, you might tell Eric and the viewers here what happened, why we weren't able to go, because there were hundreds of us, right, Ann? We were in Istanbul and Turkey, ready to get on these ships, and unfortunately we couldn't leave, so maybe Ann can tell us why.
Sure, because the country of Guinea-Bissau, who had flagged 2 of our ships, suddenly the night before we were to put passengers on, pulled the flags. And guess who was probably responsible for getting them to pull the flags? The Israeli government, and no doubt the US government had a little bit to do with it. So we're having to find countries who will not bend to the will of Israel and the United States to get flags so we can sail these ships and challenge Israel's blockade of Gaza.
You heard it first, Eric.
Wow. Yeah, we were paying attention to the whole flotilla. As it was happening, we were talking about it every single day on the show. And it is absolutely shocking and terrible that they're using basically food as a weapon and leverage in this war. Medea, we have our...
One other thing, Eric, when you say food as a weapon, we should also mention is that stupid pier that the U.S. built, first at a cost of $320 million, and it kept getting blown away by waves. And now it seems they might dismantle the whole thing entirely. And it's another example of the ridiculous use of U.S. money and the politics instead of pressuring Israel to just open the gates and allow the trucks in. We did this ridiculous pier, the pier to nowhere.
The pier to nowhere, that is absolutely for sure. And we've also speculated that it might have been used for other things too. Smitty, my friend, had a question for you, so we'll begin with Smitty, and we'll cycle everybody who wanted to speak to Medea and ask her a question too. Smitty, go right ahead, my friend.
Thank you. And the first thing that I wanted to say to you, Medea, is how incredibly inspiring your work is for everybody. And I know you are often in situations where you're being confronted with people who may not like or appreciate you in their space, but I know I speak for everybody here how much we appreciate what you're doing. Your courage is incredible, and the courage of Coach Pink and the rest of your team is just boundless. And I guess my question is, where do you go right up to people, you don't mess around, you get right in their face and you ask incredibly difficult questions. where do you get that confidence and that courage from? I would love to know. What we can help you as well, but you are incredible. I just would love to know where you get that courage from.
Speaks their language to their children.
Well, part of the courage is anger about what we're seeing on our in the social media, on our TV screens, and the horrific slaughter and starvation that's going on in Gaza, a place I've been to a number of times. The other is, I'm glad you mentioned the team, because it is the team that gives us courage when you're with other people who are committed. And it's so funny, we see all these accusations that we're being funded by the Chinese Communist Party or by Putin or wherever. The people that go with us are total volunteers. They're calling in sick from their work. They're taking their retirement. There's a woman who, she's probably given birth today. She's been with us on her maternity leave, just about to pop, saying she couldn't think of anything better to be doing on her maternity leave than going around in Congress with us. So the team spirit is something that keeps us going. And then just the importance that we feel of exposing who these people are who are supposed to represent the American public, but for the most part represent a foreign government, the government of Israel. And to see how much this lobby group AIPAC has taken over our government is really quite remarkable. Of course, we should also mention the military-industrial complex, the big weapons companies that just love war and love keeping conflicts going, like the one that Israel has been involved in. So I would say, yes, it's a combination of anger, of teamwork, and on feeling the responsibility to expose just how broken our system is. It's not just the Republicans, it's the majority of Democrats as well.
Yes, thank you so much for explaining that. We explained the exact same thing, like they're both at fault here and there's extreme corruption on both sides. Smitty, thank you very, very much for that question. Everybody, please hit the follow button on Smitty. Smitty's been in this is the beginning, just like me, everybody. He's been doing live shows and doing a lot of work exposing and enlightening people. So thank you, Smitty. Nader of El Mayadeen.
How you
What's
doing?
up,
How you
Nader?
doing,
Nader is of El Mayadeen, the news network.
How are you? It's great to see you here, my friend.
Yes.
So listen, I don't have a question for Medea. I really don't. I just want to let everybody know. So ever since I became a journalist almost 25 years ago, probably the first activist in Washington, D.C. that I ever met was Medea. And we've known her ever since, when I was with Al Jazeera TV and now when I'm with Al Mayadeen. And I want to let everybody know, and I want to thank Medea for this, and Code Pink and Ann and the whole Code Pink team. If, a lot of people ask, what can we do? What can we do to help? What kind of activism? Code Pink, with Medea and Ann's leadership and others, is a master class in activism. If you want to know what to do, if you want ideas on how you can be active in your community, you don't have to be in Washington, D.C. to do what they do. You don't even have to do everything that they do. They might go a little bit further than what you may be comfortable with, and that's okay. But you need to follow Code Pink on all the social media platforms, and you need to learn, and you need to be not afraid. Just not afraid to be active. Medea, I really want to thank you for everything you do. Code Pink has been an inspiration. I know everybody here feels that way, but I want to impress upon everybody that really Code Pink is a master class in activism, and not just for Palestine, for justice for everyone. I mean, you guys have been there. You guys have been fearless, and you have put your selves on the line all the time. Everybody knows that. But I want everybody to know that it's not beyond reach for everybody else as well. So I appreciate you, Medea. That's really what I came up to say. I'll be in touch with you soon. I want to say I get the schedules every day of where you guys are at, but I've been out of commission for over a month now due to some health issues. But I'll be joining you very, very soon.
Wonderful. It's so nice to hear from you. And I'm sorry you've had health issues, but glad to hear you're on the mend. We've missed seeing you. And thank you so much for those kind words. In terms of a master class, I think it is a wonderful experience when people come around with us, because the majority of people we've had have never been in Congress before. In fact, they didn't even know that you could walk through the doors of Congress. Anybody could. And you could walk into the offices of the Congress people. You know, this is a pretty amazing access that we have that you can't find in most other places around the world. I tell people we have access, we just don't have influence.
No, you do. You do.
Well, it's
I mean,
important to use that access. And once people realize they can just walk in, they're feeling like a sense of empowerment. And we keep saying, you know, this is our house. These are our public servants. And so, yes, people can come to Washington, come for a day, 3 days, a week, whatever you can do. If you don't have housing, we often have people who will put folks up and come and join us. And yes, you'll get a better education than you will in any university. And as Nader said, you don't have to come to DC. We're working every day with people in their local communities. They're doing fantastic work. And it really is pushing people at the local level that has more influence than we have here in Washington, D.C. So yes, please contact us at Code Pink. You can go to our events page on the Code Pink website, see where we're going to be each day. And if you can join us, that would be wonderful.
well, I'm going to drop. I just want to thank you and thank Erik all the time. This guy, Erik, I mean, he always brings the best of the best up here, you know, as special guests for these interviews. I appreciate you, Erik. I'm going to drop to give everybody else a chance. Love you guys.
Thank you, buddy.
See you soon.
Thank you.
Nader of
Thank you.
Nader of El Mayadeen, awesome, great guy. He does human refuge. He's the guy who started that coffee business where all profits go to the children of Gaza. And stuff. Great guy right there. Pally Barbie of Salam and Solidarity. A very hello. Oh, Dr. Fax is here too. Pally Barbie, go right ahead for your question to Medea.
Hi, first of all, Erik, as always, thank you for your panels. I don't usually come up on panels, but I'm always here watching you. You've always hosted these amazing lives, educational, and we appreciate it. Medea, first, it is an honor to meet you. It's not in person, but on a panel. Hopefully, I've met Erik in DC. Hopefully, when we go out on July 24th, we can hopefully meet with you. We would love that. I don't necessarily have a whole question. I just wanted to come up here and thank Medea for her voice, for everything she's doing as a Palestinian, just the activism behind everybody, how they've built this community and the powerful voices that have come together and have been, you know, performing and just speaking loudly for the Palestinians. And Medea, it's people like you and people like Nader and other people who pushed me as a Palestinian to start, you know, our own nonprofit and to try to help on the ground in the best way possible. And like Erik said, Salam and Solidarity, we started it because of what's happening in Gaza and because we wanted to see a change. So it'd be an honor to meet you and hopefully, you know, see your work in real time. And I really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for your beautiful work in Gaza. That's wonderful. And I heard you mention the 24th. So will you be here on the 24th?
Yes, I've been out to every DC protest and I'm going to make my way out there again the 24th.
Excellent. We hope we'll have so many people we can't find each other.
Yes, we hope so. I only found Erik because he's really tall. But Erik, thank you so much. And Medea, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you to Pally Barbie, and thank you again to Salam and Solidarity. They're a charity that does so much for giving food and everything to people in Gaza. So awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you, Pally Barbie.
You
I
guys can
appreciate
drop
you.
me. Thank you. Take care.
You too.
And thank you for coming up, Pally Barbie. I so appreciate you and all the work that you do with Salam and Solidarity. So thank you very much. Just a quick message to everybody on the mod here. I'm loading the panel. So we've got a list and a way we're doing it. So we so appreciate your patience and you know where I am. Thank you. And also thank you to Miss Medea. We're so glad to have you here. Thank you.
And thank you, Shelley one of my great moderators for helping get all these interviews even possible. So thank you, Shelley. Julie Joyce, you have you're up next, and you have a question for Medea. Go right ahead, Julie Joyce. Welcome to the show.
Yes, hi, Medea. I was just wondering if you could let us know why you decided to back Jill Stein for president.
Well, I certainly was not going to back Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Yeah, and so I support Jill Stein because I think her platform is great. I also support Cornel West. I think his platform is great. And I think we have to support people who are calling out the genocide in Gaza, calling for an immediate ceasefire, and people who have a good platform in general. I mean, my issues are much broader than just the issue of Palestine. And I can't think of anything really I disagree with when it comes to Jill Stein or Cornell.
Could I add another question type statement?
Go ahead.
So I know that Cornel West was actually running on the Green Party ticket, and he dropped out 2 weeks before ballot access was due in California. And he started his new party after that. So he missed several deadlines for ballot access. So if we're going to back somebody complicitly and we get everybody to back Jill Stein, we might actually have a chance. It's not more of a question, it's kind of a statement. Sorry.
Absolutely. I mean, I've known Cornell for decades, and I think he's a wonderful guy. But in terms of a campaign that has more of a chance to really have an influence, it's Jill Stein's, because she's going to be on the ballot in a lot more states. And I think it's a serious campaign. And those of us who want to see a change, not from just one war party to another war party, should really look at Jill Stein.
Yes, thank you so much. We say the same thing too. Both parties are complicit, and both parties seem to be following AIPAC pretty loyally too. So we definitely agree with you on that, Medea. For Jill Stein, she's been on our show twice. Oh, the social media loves Jill Stein. That is for sure. I think she'd be a lot more popular in mainstream if only they knew about her. And we really believe that mainstream media is intentionally not giving her airtime. October, at least, thank you. Julie Joyce, appreciate you super duper much. Dr. Fax, everybody, please hit the follow button on Dr. Fax, a big Palestinian. Welcome to you, my friend. How are you, buddy? Go right ahead.
Good. How are you, brother Eric? Thank you for having me up on the panel. Thank you, Shelley, for being a great mod on here. Medea, it's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for all your activism, especially relating to Palestine and your inspiration of how to be an activist. My question is, you have a presentation coming up, the 75th anniversary of NATO. In the past 35 years, NATO has played a military expansion role in Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Ukraine, and even Israel. Can you briefly describe how NATO is funded, and what do you see as a practical alternative to this alliance?
Well, thank you so much for bringing up the question of NATO. And since NATO will be coming to Washington, D.C. to, quote, celebrate its 75th anniversary, there are a series of events that are going to be taking place to counter this narrative that NATO is a successful, quote, defensive alliance. And you could go to No to NATO, and is it notonato.org?
No to NATO, yes to peace.org.
No to NATO, yes to peace.org to find out the list of events, including an all-day conference that will be happening, evening events, rallies, and then protests while NATO is going on as well. And you talked about the countries that NATO has invaded. I think it's so important to recognize that NATO is not defensive. It's an aggressive alliance.
Absolutely.
It's a dangerous alliance. Not only has it gotten involved with the United States in wars way beyond the North Atlantic borders, but it is also putting its sights now in China to create another area of the world at war. And so it's not just the countries that are NATO members, but it's also these NATO partners that now span the globe. Including in South America, for example. And I just co-wrote a book with David Swanson called NATO, What You Need to Know. It is now hot off the press, and I encourage people to buy it to learn more about NATO because, you know, in the United States, the biggest problem we have is that people don't know about NATO. It's much more known in Europe, where there is a vibrant opposition to NATO because the U.S. has been pushing the NATO countries to spend more and more of their GDP on the military. This was a big thing of Trump's. He kept saying, you know, Europe's not doing its job. It's not pulling its weight. And indeed, since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, there's been a massive increase from the Europeans spending on militarism. A lot of that money goes to U.S. companies, and it's part of why the U.S. has been pushing for more and more expenditures on military. But we know, and the Europeans know better, that that means taking money from their social safety net. That means taking money from the universal healthcare systems that the Europeans used to have, the free college education that Europeans used to have. And so many Europeans say we don't want to be like the United States. We do want those safety nets, and we don't want to spend more on the military. And that's why there is a strong opposition to NATO in Europe, but not in the United States. And we have to build that up. So please go to No to NATO, Yes to Peace, and get a copy of my book, and let's learn more and build up a stronger opposition to this aggressive, dangerous military alliance that has gotten involved in wars around the world and is seeking conflicts, future conflicts.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Medea. And again, I thank you for your activism, and I really appreciate you. You're such an inspiration. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was an excellent question about, and Medea, thank you so much for explaining that about NATO. We've talked about the same exact thing. We've made the same observations too about NATO. It's like 100% agree with you, and thank you so much for that great question and awesome answer on both. Thank you, Dr. Fax. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you, my friend. Hi. Angels, go right ahead, Angels.
Hi, Medea. It's a pleasure meeting you. I have two questions. My first question is, out of curiosity, what inspired you to start Code Pink?
Well, we started Code Pink after the 9/11 attacks, when we saw that George Bush was going to use those attacks as an excuse to not only invade Afghanistan, but also Iraq, that had nothing to do with 9/11. And for older folks, you might remember George Bush's color-coded alert system, where there was a yellow, an orange, a red, and each one was designed to make people say, oh no, you know, we're about to get another attack. And we thought we need another color-coded alert. We wanted to make it code hot pink, but that URL was taken by a porn site, so we couldn't be hot pink. We were just plain old pink. But over the years, we've come to embrace the color and recognize that it still is so necessary to say that we should be looking for ways to resolve conflicts through negotiations, through nonviolent means, instead of just creating more violence.
I'm so glad that you just mentioned that sentence regarding, violence and finding solutions. If you were able to have firsthand access to President Biden, what would your advice be when it comes to foreign policy and these wars?
I would say that he's going to lose the election, not only because he is not all there, but also because his foreign policy has pissed off enough people in swing states that it's going to cost him the election. And if for only that reason, he should change course when it comes to support for Israel. But I would say that if the U.S. wants to to be a prosperous nation, we can't keep putting $1 trillion into the military while we have crumbling infrastructure, while we're not dealing seriously with the climate crisis, while people cannot get decent health care and students are in debt for decades after they go to college. So if we want to be a prosperous nation, we have to shift hundreds of billions of dollars away from the military and into life-affirming activities. So that's what I would say to him if I had the chance. And I would certainly say to him that he should step aside and not run.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree.
Yes, yes. Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Angels. Thank you so much, Medea. Thank you. And Smitty, thank you, thank you, thank you. Young Zell, you would be up next, my friend. Welcome, Young. Go right ahead, my friend. Thank you for joining, bud.
Hey, how's it going?
Go
I hope I sound
There you
okay.
are.
I don't know. I'm getting some bars here.
Yeah, no, it's
Okay,
like
great.
you're good,
I
you're
hope
good.
I'm
We hear you
sounding
nice and
okay.
clear.
Okay, great. It's a pleasure to be on here with you, Medea. I've been following you for the longest, and it's just a blessing on what you do, trying to point out exactly what's going on in our system right now. I guess my first question would be regarding the military-industrial complex, which is pretty much taking over our entire system right now. Which party do you feel would be the better party suited if it comes down to that it is only this two-party in this election at this time? I mean, I'm loving Joe Stein, but at the end of the day, we don't have any Green Party members in Congress. That could be an issue. So what would be your take there is my question.
It really doesn't matter very much because both of them are militarist parties. Both of them want to put massive amounts of money into the military. I mean, marginally more the Republicans, but you see that Biden, when he introduces the budget for the military, it's always an increase on what it was the last year. And then it comes to Congress, and Congress adds more money to it. It does tend to be the Republicans who add more. But the Democrats go along with it in the end and call it job creation. So yes, you're right. It's a two-party system that has it wrapped up and doesn't allow third parties to really have access to power. And some of the worst people in Congress are the Republicans. Senator Wicker, for example, single-handedly added another $25 billion to the Pentagon budget after it had already been raised by the Biden administration and by Congress. Just as they were about to agree on a figure, he threw in another $25 billion. So that's an example of Republicans coming in to make it even worse. But in general, the two of them have been responsible for this constant increase and massive increase that we have seen over the years, so that now it's almost $1 trillion that we're spending on the military.
Yeah, the numbers are just insane and astronomical. And you know what? I really got to say that I think Code Pink is a better name than Code Hot Pink. I think that bad coincidence did you a favor in the long run.
You know, we had a lot of women who didn't like pink, and they were like, pink is too sweet, and you know, we're not sweet women, we're strong, feisty women. But yeah, in the end, you're right.
Young Zell, appreciate you in the question. Medea, always thank you. Oh, and everybody, please, I'm sure you guys are already following Medea, but if you are not, please hit the follow button on Medea. Appreciate you very, very much for swinging on by. Let me see. Subliminal Nation is next. Subliminal Nation. Everybody hit the follow button on Subliminal Nation too. And I appreciate you swinging by the show, my friend. Hello, how are you?
Always, every time, Eric. So I had a statement and a question for Medea. First, I wanted to let her know. So I work really closely with the Jill Stein campaign. So I was super excited and want to thank you for your endorsement last month. But I also had a question. little less complicated. You know, you've confronted a lot of people over the years, and a lot of times we've seen people lay hands on you. Have you ever successfully been able to press charges on any of these politicians for assaulting you?
You know, maybe it's a mistake, but I never try because I know that it's a huge distraction. Time, money, lawyers, and in some ways I just feel like I want to keep the eyes on the prize. You know, where do we want to go? I could have done it several times just in the last 8 months of being assaulted, but then I keep thinking, you know, this is nothing compared to what people are going through every single day in Gaza, and I don't want it to be a distraction.
Yes, very. Oh, and I mean, we got to say, because we play your videos all the time on our show, the way you confront a lot of these it gets pretty funny too. We love the way you handle them, and we love your direct voice and everything like that too. Subliminal, is there anything else you wanted to say? And thank you so much for swinging on by, Subliminal.
No, thank you, Medea, for answering my question, and keep doing what you're doing. And so happy to have you here.
Great. Thank you so much. And thank you for the work on Jill Stein's campaign. Go Jill. Go team.
Yeah, go Jill. I mean, yeah, Jill Stein is, she is bravely saying all the stuff that most Republicans and Democrats are too afraid. She's addressing things and adding to the narrative. She's giving us other options and everything. We really need more. If we're going to be a real democracy, we really need more than two options for sure. Eucalyptus is next. Pally girl, thank you. Eucalyptus, welcome to the show. And go ahead for your question to Medea.
Hey, thanks for bringing me up. Medea, I love you. You're one of my heroes. My wife and I and my family watch you all the time. We can't wait to watch you grill these politicians. We can't wait to watch you ask them the tough questions, especially exposing this evil that's constantly up there, unaliving children every single day, the carelessness of it. I think they shouldn't be able to eat, sleep, or go to the bathroom without being reminded about what they're doing every single day. These crimes against humanity, they make me sick. So I just wanted to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I also wanted to say that I think your idea with the flotilla was one of the most amazing ideas I've come across to break the siege. Okay, it's very unfortunate that didn't work out. I followed it very closely. All right, I wanted to know from you, what do you think? What do you think is going to break this siege? What are we going to need to see in order for this to actually take place?
Well, thank you so much for your comments. First of all, on the siege, it's never been my idea. I've always been a mere participant. There have been people who have been doing this for years. And in the beginning, the boats were able to get to Gaza. But in more recent years, Israel has stopped them, including when they boarded the Turkish ship, the Mavi Marmara, and killed 10 people. But don't give up on the flotilla, because there is still an effort to have that happen. And we're hoping that it will happen in the next month or two. What will it take to break the siege? I have no idea. I wish I knew where this was going. I don't have any vision of how this is going to end, because on the one hand, I see so much destruction, it's hard to think of being able to rebuild and live a decent life in Gaza. And yet, on the other hand, I know people do not want to leave, do not want to abandon Gaza, and that people have a love for the land and want to live there freely. I hope that with this horrific suffering and catastrophe, we don't go back to the way things were, that it has just broken this paradigm, and that the world community is going to step forward and say, okay, now what's it going to take to have real equal rights for Palestinians? But I must say, I have tremendous disappointment in the world community, even the Arab community that has done so little. I mean, the fact that we've gone 8 months in this horrific situation and that the world is basically letting it happen. Yes, we have the International Criminal Court, we have the International Court of Justice, but unless the countries around the world actually listen to that and have an embargo on weapons and stop trading with Israel. As we've seen, Israel is not going to stop its ethnic cleansing, its apartheid system, its genocidal actions. So the short answer is I really have no idea.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much, Eucalyptus. And excellent, excellent, excellent. I'm going to be getting to another Salam and Solidarity. Vengeful and Vengeful, we're super appreciative of your representation of Salam and Solidarity, the great, great charity. So Vengeful Survivor, welcome to the show and go right ahead, my friend. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Eric. You are amazing what you do on this panel. Appreciate you so much. Medea, I just want to say how much of an inspiration you are, and really appreciate everything you do and everything you say. You really are an inspiring, strong person, and we all love you and appreciate you. So my question has to do with, I know with the flotilla, you know how hard it is to get aid into Gaza and distribute into Gaza. Salam and Solidarity, I know you talked to Pally Barbie. This is a Palestinian-led initiative. We started out grassroots, and we're 100% volunteer. We're now a pending 501c3. And we know right now that with the forced starvation, with children being unalived from starvation, that the number one need I think right now is to get food and water distributed, because UNRWA can't do it, the governments aren't doing it. So my question is, as us starting out pretty new, for the last 6-7 months, do you have any advice for, us starting up, what we can do to raise more awareness and to raise funds to get people aware to help do this, that this is something that can really help, so we can, come together as a community to help get aid into, distributed in Gaza? I know Help Feed Gaza Now does a great job. We're doing it, but we could really use some advice and some guidance from you, because you do such great work, and I know you've had a hard time, with the flotilla. So do you have any advice for people like us?
Well, I'm sure you're doing a fantastic job, and I want to thank you for what you're doing. But since I haven't followed it closely, it's hard to give advice. What I do think is that people are confused because they see that all these trucks are lined up and can't get in, and they say, well, how can you actually get the goods in? And so I think the videos that actually show how, that explain, I mean, I have a number of friends that are doing work like you are, and it really helps people to see that there are ways to get money inside, there are ways to distribute food inside, there are ways to distribute water, and so that they don't feel that this donation is in vain.
Yeah, we do that, and I just, sorry, I'm a little nervous up here with you, but because you're such a hero of mine. We show those videos and everything, and I people should be aware that there is an economy in there. There is, trucks that get in that aren't the humanitarian aid. So, thank you for that advice. We will do everything we can. And listen, we hope to see you on the 24th. We hope to see Eric. We hope to maybe, buy you a dinner or a cup of coffee or anything you want, because you're just absolutely amazing. So we hope to be in touch with you. Thank you so much for everything you do. And as always, free Palestine means free the world.
Wonderful. And why don't you explain how you get the aid in and distributed?
We have the videos showing all that. Sometimes, talking about that. I mean, there are merchant trucks, you guys, that do get inside. There is food. There is things inside there. It's limited. It's expensive. That's why we need so much funding. And, it is in Salam and Solidarity. Actually, it's the ground team of Salam and Solidarity that are the heroes, the ones who do all the work. It's the brave Palestinians on the ground that are risking their lives to get as much product as they can together. And then we do soup kitchens, we do new mother packages, we do water trucks, there is the ability to do that, but the more people that are aware of it and that help out and follow Palestinian-led initiatives that are doing this, I think it's the best way to do it. Thank you so much for your time, Medea. You are absolutely wonderful.
Thank you. And thank you for your wonderful work in feeding people.
It's not me, it's the team, just like you say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, unfortunately, there is like a black market in food in there, and I think a lot of people suspect Egypt of selling into Gaza what should have been for free and stuff. There's a lot of shenanigans too, unfortunately, with the food. But we're trying to feed as many people as possible. And thank you so much to Salam and Solidarity for that. Thank you, Vengeful. Everybody hit the follow button on Vengeful. Everybody, I'm sure you guys already have, but I'm going to say it anyway. Please hit the follow button on Medea Benjamin. And we're going to go right to Siobhan. Siobhan, for your question, go right ahead. Siobhan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for beaming me up, Scotty. It's an honor to meet you, Medea. Did you say Medea or Medea?
Medea's good, but either is fine.
Okay. I don't allow people to call me Sayoban, so just checking. Yes, it's an honor to meet you, and maybe you already answered this in a different way, but I just wonder where you get all your energy from, because I'm sitting near you in the restaurant, and I see all your energy, and I'm saying, waiter, I'll have what she's having.
Oh, that's very cute. I did answer that, but there are other elements. I talked about the team giving each other energy. What I love about our team is that it's different every day. There are people that are flying in from California or driving from Kentucky. There are people who are workers in FedEx. There are people who are university professors. We have doctors. We have people who are unemployed, students. We have such a range. We have a number of people who are from the Muslim community, including Palestinians, including people who have family from Gaza, and it's very, very hard for them going into these offices and meeting these heartless people, whether it's the representatives themselves or the staffers, who are often just as bad. But we also have a number of people from the Jewish community. We have an older man whose family were Holocaust survivors, and he is Israeli with a heavy Israeli accent, Shlomo. He is wonderful. We have a couple of other women who identify very strongly. I am Jewish, but I'm not religious. And these people are religious. And, you see them put their arms around each other. The people from Palestine, the Shlomo from Israel, and say, this is not about religion. This is about justice. And so we really get inspired by the people who just show up and become a very diverse, eclectic family. And I think that's where the energy comes from.
Great. I wanted to know what happened with that guy who accused you of threatening his wife and family, and then suddenly there was a turnaround after you went to his office and spoke to his people.
Yes, his name is Tim Burchett. He's from Tennessee. And it's an interesting case because before October 7th, I was focusing on Ukraine and how are we going to stop this war in Ukraine. And this guy, Tim Burchett, was on the Foreign Affairs committee in Congress, and he was grilling one of the witnesses at a hearing, and he sounded really anti-war. So I went up to him afterwards and I said, wow, where are you coming from? And he said, I hate war. It's a big scam. You should look at how many of these people have stock in weapons companies and they make money off of this. And I was thinking, wow, I love this guy. And time passed, and lo and behold, he is all of a sudden not anti-war, but pro-Israel, sending $17 billion to Israel. So we said to him, what the heck is going on with you? And anytime we saw him, we would be yelling at him and saying, wait, I thought you were so anti-war and you knew it was a big scam. And then he accused someone from Code Pink of threatening to kill his wife and children. And he said it at a hearing with Anthony Blinken. And we thought, oh my goodness, this really puts Code Pink at danger. And so we went to his office, we confronted him, we asked people in his office, where is the proof? Tell us what this person looked like. So if there really was a Code Pink person, we could find them. And finally they said, well, we don't have any footage of it. And he himself said, oh, I'm a Christian, I forgive you. And we were like,
Oh.
well, we don't need your forgiveness. We think you made the whole thing up. But in any case, we want you to go back to the old Tim Burchett we saw before October 7th that hated war. And so we see him all the time. He has invited us out to lunch. He says, I'll take you feminists out to lunch, but you got to eat meat. He thought he was being very funny. And since then, we've been going to his office to set a date for the lunch, and we've never gotten a date, but we will follow up with him.
Thank you very much, Javon, and thank you so much, Medea. Let me get to Pally Lion. Everybody hit the follow button on Pally Lion, who's also a live show host and a social media content creator. And also, I'm sure you guys already have, but if you haven't, the 2 or 3 people in the chat room who haven't, hit the follow button on Medea. And whoever put the little cats up on the screen, that is absolutely hilarious, and thank you. So go ahead, Pally Lion. What's up? What
Eric,
go right ahead, buddy.
hey, I appreciate you for having me on today. Thank you for always platforming me, and big shout out to King of the Tunnel down there. Thank you. Thanks for all the gifts, everybody, and thank you, Medea, for doing what you do. It's an honor and privilege to talk to you.
I just commented. I was like, I'm not going to get to ask
Since
those
then,
questions.
we've been going to his office to set a date for the lunch, and we've never gotten a date. Oops. But we will follow up with him.
Oh, I'm sorry, but there was a
Hey, no
complete
problem.
glitch. Miss Phoenix, come request again, Phoenix. It wasn't her fault. It was a glitch. Go right ahead, Pally. I'm sorry about all that, everybody.
Oh,
Go
no,
ahead.
no worries, brother. I just wanted to say thank you, first of all. I'm Palestinian, and I want you to know that. And as a Palestinian, I'm very grateful and thankful for all the work you do for Palestine. My uncle is a huge fan of yours and the whole Code Pink clan, and we do appreciate you. I just want to show my appreciation, and I guess my question is if you had a message to an average American, average Joe American who doesn't really know much about Palestine and Israel, what would your message be?
My message would be that there will never be peace in Israel unless there's justice for the Palestinians. And that we have to care about all people, no matter their religion, no matter their color. That if we care about the national security of the United States, this is not only a war that is confined to Israel, but could easily spread throughout the region. We see the terrible conflict that is happening with Lebanon right now, but this could spread to Iran. And if there's a war with Iran, that is going to be horrific for everybody. So whether it's the national security interest, whether it's your concern for Israelis and Jewish people in general, or whether you really are a humanitarian person and care about people who are suffering, not only in Gaza, but also in the West Bank, that this conflict is terrible for all of us, and Israel must be reined in, and there must be justice for Palestinians.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful answer, well articulated. Again, thank you so much for all you do. You have a lot of purpose, and you're inspiring a lot of people, including me. And Eric, thank you for always having these wonderful guests. I don't know how you do it, champ. But again, thank you, Eric, for doing what you do, brother. You're a star in my heart, and I'm forever grateful for you too, brother. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you.
Always, buddy. And thank you so much. Again, Pally Lion is a social media content creator too, and he does live show. He does everything for the cause too for a long time. So everybody hit the follow button on Pally Lion. And I know everyone pretty much already has anyway, but I'm going to say it just anyway, because everybody hit the follow button on Medea. You guys, I'm sure, are already following her and Code Pink, because we talk about them on the show all the time. So Shelly, go right ahead, Shelly.
Thank you. And guys, Pally Lion just got married, so big congratulations to Pally Lion, a really important part of the Palestinian community in the diaspora. So thank you so much. We so appreciate it. Again, Medea, I was just going to ask you, I know they were going to use the Irish flag for the flotilla, and there's still some talk about being able to do that next month, even talk about maybe doing it on July 4th, you know, because the Irish have a bit of a sense of humor. What do you think about all that? And in the first place, and then in the second, the Irish politicians are very against war. We're very pro kind of being neutral. And what do you think about that and the difference between them and the American politicians? Thank you so much.
Well, I think the history of Ireland as a colonized people makes them tremendously empathetic towards the Palestinians, and we've seen that solidarity for decades now, and it's so beautiful to see. The other thing is Irish neutrality that has been so important, to not be part of the U.S. war machine, but to be taking an independent path to recognize that neutral countries should be pushing for neutrality, for justice, and in terms of the flag, I don't know. Anne is not here at the moment, but I don't think Ireland was seriously considering putting the flag. But certainly it would be a great thing if they did. And I don't know about you, but I'm so disappointed that Clara Daly and Mick Wallace will not be representing Ireland in the European Union anymore, having lost, because they were such a bright spot, not only for Ireland, but for all of us. And if people who are listening don't know who I'm talking about, Eric, do you talk about Claire? And
we talk about Claire Daly a lot, and we were highly disappointed that we were shocked that she lost. We had no idea that was going to happen. We just kind of took it for granted. I mean, I guess we shouldn't have, but we've talked a lot about Claire Daly.
Yeah, there's a big campaign against them in Ireland as well, with the mainstream media talking about representing their districts. They're representing the world.
That's a shame.
Phoenix. They're not out yet. Sorry, Medea, just to let you know, people before profits are not done yet. They won't stop. And the interference is mostly from America and the UK, because they're trying to push their alt-right nonsense over onto us, and that won't work. But that's it. Thanks, guys. I'm going to go back to work. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Lynn, thank you. No stopping the Irish.
Phoenix in the chat room, we tried to load you up again, but your microphone is heavily interfering. Sorry, Phoenix, we can't load you up. We tried twice. All right, Shelly, thank you. Drew is up next. Drew, our friend, welcome to the show, and go right ahead, my bud.
Hey, Eric, good to see you. How you doing? Hey, Medea, it is an absolute honor to even be on the same panel as you right now. I am totally shell-shocked. Thank you so much for even listening to me. Absolutely love you, and know lots of other people who do. One of the things I've noticed, especially about you, aside from all of the great work you've done, the flotilla and everything else, is how you deal with the situations you deal with, the composure you have when these politicians are being ugly to you, or you're being escorted out or searched. Or there's one place in particular that I remember. You were at a luncheon or something, and you were holding your sign up, and you were just letting these people have it, and security kept trying to grab you, and you would just go behind a chair or around a table or sort of slip this guy and just kept giving the message. And to me, that's indicative of someone with just a ton of experience in protesting. My question is, what are some tips you have for us, or some words of wisdom for the protesters in this movement, like me and other people in those situations?
Well, one is to make sure your sign is right side up, not upside down. It's happened to me many times. Make sure your sign is readable, really thick letters. Another is to not give it up, to try to hold on to the sign like it's something really important to you, but at some point your voice and your message is even more important. To recognize that what you're getting out is the voice and the position of people who don't have the privilege of having that voice in that venue. And so it's really important that you're loud, that you're clear, that you're not complicated in your message. If you only want to have 1 or 2 points, that's fine. Just keep repeating them in different ways over and over again. And to try not to be too intimidated. I mean, it's logical to be scared when you're in situations like that, but to make sure that the voice in your head is one that says, you can do this, you can do this, it's important. And not to beat yourself up if it doesn't work out. I've been in plenty of places where I haven't done a good job. Things didn't turn out right. I didn't have anybody there filming, and so you didn't even know that it happened. I mean, all kinds of things happen. You're recognized before you get in. People always say to me, how do you get in? Well, they don't realize that so many places I don't get in. So I would just say, do your best, practice before you go in, and just keep doing it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. That is like gems for us, and I feel like very important for us to hear. Thank you so much. And again, it is an honor to speak with you. And Erik, thank you so very much for letting me up on the panel. Thank you.
Can I say one other thing?
Of course.
Which is that we're often told that the interruptions are rude. Going to people's homes is rude. Going to do sit-ins in their offices. We've even gone to places where they go to worship and they say, how can you do that? That's private. We say that their policies are the rude policies, and that we have a right and obligation to confront them wherever we can. If they had open door policy in terms of not just meeting with the staff intern behind the desk, but actually with the representative like the APAC people do, then we wouldn't have to interrupt them or go to their homes. But we don't have that access. And so don't be discouraged, and don't let people tell you that what we're doing is not polite. What they're doing is not polite.
That is such a good point. I'm going to keep that in my head. I'm trying to catalog everything you just said, and thank you so very much, Medea. And again, Erik, thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Drew. Appreciate you very, very much. Goldie is up next. Goldie, super appreciate everything you do for the movement too. We appreciate you, Goldie. Everybody hit the follow button on Goldie. Hit the follow button on Medea. Go ahead, Goldie.
Okay, I'm going to keep it really quick because I could be a chatterbox. I'm so sorry. But Medea, I don't think it's we honor and love you so much. My question is actually for, as an activist, I've been an activist for about 20 years. I'm actually raising activists. My daughter, for her graduation, actually held up the Palestinian flag. So her question, she wanted to ask you a question.
Hello, Medea. I am
sweetheart, and congratulations for holding up the flag. That is so awesome.
Oh, I'm so
she said,
sorry.
Thank you for holding up the
yes.
flag.
Yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you for all your work you do for Palestine. I wanted to ask you a quick question. What is your advice for young activists? Activists like me.
Well, I think you don't need advice because you've already done it. I mean, holding up the flag is a really courageous thing to do, and I hope you didn't get in trouble for it, or if you did, it wasn't too bad. And having a mother that's supportive is really great. I grew up in a family with very conservative parents, so I never had that support, and I hope you really appreciate that. And the other is the thing about organizing and getting your friends together. Because doing this alone or just with one or two people, is important, but the more people that you can educate and convince, the better. And education, people your age, they really have to unlearn what they have often learned, or many of them don't know very much at all about foreign policy. So a lot to be taught. You probably have some good movies that you could recommend to people, because that's often a good way to learn. I find that showing young people some of these films, and there are some really good ones that have come out recently. You might have heard of Where the Olive Trees Weep. That's a very good one. An older film that's fabulous is called Occupation of the American Mind. Really good, and it's been updated. Showing a very short little film called The Present, like giving a gift, The Present.
So good. Yep, remember with the
good. So showing those to your friends, the educational part, and where they can see other young people in not only Gaza, but in the West Bank, talking about what their lives are like. There's another new film, I can't think of it at the moment, but educating your peers is a great thing to do. And then pushing within your school. I was at the City Council today in Washington, D.C., and there were a bunch of high school students with us, and they were so smart and so articulate. It was really great. And when the City Council person said, well, we deal with city issues, not with foreign policies. That doesn't affect us here. These high school students says, it sure does affect us. When we try to bring it up and talk about and educate people in the school, we're not even allowed to do that. We're censored, and that affects us. So I think showing how this does affect our lives and how we should have the right to speak out on behalf of Palestinians, and that's not anti-Semitic, is wonderful. But I feel like I'm telling you all kinds of things that you already know.
No, we appreciate you, sister. We love you. We actually had a very uncomfortable situation with the Zionist teacher that we had to bring up to the district. So it was pretty uncomfortable. Multiple times. So she stood up to the teacher and defended the students and our fellow Habibti sisters, and so we did that. So that's what started it. But we appreciate you and we love you, Medea. I hope you understand that you're such an inspiration for young girls. Like you really are.
Yes.
And you're a hero in our house.
Well, and thank you and your daughter. You sound wonderful. And I just wanted to tell you that tomorrow we will be in Congress having our own, what we're calling the People's Hearing on Islamophobia, anti-Arab, anti-Muslim, anti-Palestinian hate. And we're doing it because the official Congress has done 10 hearings on anti-Semitism, as well as numerous briefings and resolutions and letters, and not one about the issue of Islamophobia. And so we're doing it ourselves in the cafeteria of Congress tomorrow. And we're going to talk about things like what the high school students have been facing, what the college students have been facing, what the media fails to talk about. And so I appreciate what you're doing. And hopefully we will channel some of the problems that you've had in school tomorrow when we talk about this. And we'll be live streaming for anybody who wants to follow us on the Code Pink YouTube channel.
Thank you. Say thank you to Shelly Irish, and say thank you to my friend Eric and Shelly. Say thank you.
Thank you, Shelly and Eric.
Okay. I love you guys.
Thank you for having us on your live, Eric.
We appreciate and love you very much.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you to Goldie. Appreciate you and your kid. It's very nice to bring your kid on the show.
Bye.
All right. Thank you very, very much. Our next guest is Help Feed Gaza Now. Alf, what's up, my friend? Go right ahead. How are you, buddy?
Oh, it's just a pleasure to be here right now. I'll tell you that much. How are you? I actually wanted to introduce myself to Medea. My name is Al, and I'm born in Gaza and raised in Canada. And Help Feed Gaza Now is an initiative that's a Palestinian-led initiative where we feed and provide daily 2 meals a day now and water. We actually provide hot cooked meals to orphans and widows who have lost their husbands who have been murdered, and specifically to deliver to the tents or the homes, whatever's left over, to those who are injured in them. And that's what we're all about. This is the new page that we have. It's called Help Feed Gaza Now 2024. It's the official page. If I can get everybody to please follow it. There's a couple of videos in there that show what we do. And I had a question for you. I really think that you're a brave woman, and it's a very noble thing that you're doing to get on that flotilla. My question is to kind of describe both sides of what I just said. And what do you think is the worst case scenario and the best case scenario, being on the flotilla to get there?
Well, Ann Wright just walked back into this room, so I'm going to bring her over here because she is the woman who knows the most about this flotilla. So you're lucky you can get an answer from her.
Well, we have we've had a lot of things that have happened. You know, we've sailed 35 boats in the last 16 years. Starting in 2008, the Free Gaza movement sailed 5 boats and actually got into Gaza. But since 2009, none of our boats have gotten into Gaza. They've all been stopped by the Israeli military. In 2010, we had 10 people that were killed by the Israelis on the Marvi Marmara, and 50 were wounded. Since then, no one's been killed, but people on each one of the boats have been tasered. They've been beaten up by the Israelis. But people still say, I want to go challenge the Israeli military. I want to challenge the horrible blockade that's going on. And while we are very upfront with all the people saying, and particularly now where there is a horrible, horrible genocide that Israel is doing to the people of Gaza, the probability for violence toward us as we challenge Israel is very, very high. But people want to go do that. They are just so upset, so horrified about what's going on, and that our countries will not step in and get Israel to stop it. I mean, there is a way to stop it, and our U.S. government will not do it. None of the other countries will go in and stop Israel from doing it. So citizens say, when our governments fail, we sail. So that's what we're going to do.
And Anne, there was a question earlier about why hasn't Ireland provided the flag for the ships?
We have requested Ireland. The Irish, all of the nations that provide flags for shipping require certain things to happen. And the Irish flag takes a long, 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 long time to get. We have other countries that we are applying for that take shorter amounts of time. And so we're hoping that one of those will come through within the next 2 weeks. But Ireland takes a long time. And part of it is that you have to have an Irish crew, or part of the crew has to be Irish. There's a lot of things that are involved in it. But we certainly know that the people of Ireland and the government of Ireland have been very, very supportive of Palestine.
I was just going to say, if I can jump in, I'll go with you. I'm from Ireland. I live in America now, but you can take me and I'll just say, here, I have a flag right there. I'll bring you with me.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, they come up with rules as they go along when they have opposition, but when they're trying to do something, they ignore all the rules. So yeah, ain't that something? All right, excellent. Thank you, Al, for that question. Everybody hit the follow button on Help Feed Gaza now too. He does a lot of work for charity, and we super appreciate you, Al. Thank you so much, my friend. Yeah, Russell, you are next.
Hey, buddy. It's an honor to be, I'm so lucky. When I saw her on the panel, I'm like, oh my God, like how I was able to miss it. But I'm so happy that I was able to catch her on the live. And I just want to say, you are an angel. People that work with you are angel, right? You guys are true human walking on this earth, and you are our inspiration, not only for me or like people like me, but people around the world, and what you are standing up for is for everybody, the people that doesn't have a voice, anybody, be it a Muslim, Jews, Christian, Palestinian, or people from Congo, everywhere. You are the voice for all of us. So anywhere you go, I want you to remind you that anywhere you step in, remember, we are all with you. Our prayers and heart is always with you. And we are all, I'm sure, I'm praying. I always pray for you guys. I'm sure everyone that knows you, what the work you do, everyone loves you guys and pray for you. You guys are just an angel on earth. So thank you so much for what you do. And I'm just so emotional. I would not be happy even the U.S. president was here. That you guys are doing much more noble and worthy job. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. And really what I think perhaps the best that we're doing is exposing how genocidal so many of our politicians are. You know, on a lot of our videos, we show them speaking, but we also put the amount of money they're getting from groups like AIPAC. And people say, oh, well, that's not a lot of money, because oftentimes it's not. I mean, sometimes it is. It's like $1 million or over. And sometimes it's a very small amount of money. But what people don't understand is the power of these lobby groups is not just the money they give, it's also the money they put into ads that doesn't show up as contributions to the candidate, and the fear that they instill in the candidates that they are going to put forward an opponent in the primary to run against the candidate and knock them off. And that fear is really what keeps them from speaking out. So if we are able to expose some of that and show the way that the system has been so corrupted by the money and by the fear, I think that's a contribution to the kind of changes that we need to make. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Russell and Medea. You know what? That's one thing we've talked about on our show. How some, a lot of politicians get bribed. I mean, lobbied large amounts of money, but some just do it for like a few $1,000s. We've seen AIPAC pay like between $3,000 to $5,000 to some politicians, and that is despicable to sell out your country for about $5,000. It's like, come on, it makes you even look worse.
Rather they sell out for more money, huh?
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna sell it, your country, sell it $1 million. Like, yeah, that's gonna tempt people. But for anybody who sells out their country for just a few $1,000s, it's just like you have not just hatred but disgust upon that person too.
Well,
no,
Eric,
we've seen the same.
You're bringing up something very important, which is that it's not just about money. There are, and it's not just about fear. There are many politicians who are true believers. A couple of things. One is that there are many politicians who are Christian Zionists, who really believe that in the second coming of Christ, and that they have to support Israel until the apocalypse comes. And there are Jewish members of Congress, but there are also members of Congress who have been to Israel. Many of them go to Israel, paid for by AIPAC's education fund. And as soon as they become a viable candidate, AIPAC wants to take them to Israel. And of course, if they get into Congress, AIPAC insists that they go on a trip with them to Israel. And when they go, what they see is what the Israeli government wants them to see. And oftentimes it does get into their heads. It influences their thinking. It influences their policy making. So it is complicated, and we can't say that it's all about lobbying and money. It's also about the propaganda that has been very effective, as well as religious believers who, for one reason or another, think that supporting Israel, no matter what it does, is the Christ-like thing to do.
Yes, they find every single angle and they hit them on every single angle. It is by far the most sophisticated intelligence agency I have ever seen in my life. Yeah, that is for sure. Russell, thank you so much. Pally Girl, welcome to the show, and go right ahead, Pally Girl. How are you? And go right ahead.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Medea. I love you. I met you at the Santa Ana City Council meeting back in November, I think it was.
Yes, great to be on with you.
Yeah, I was the one that was yelling at the mayor. So, yeah, I wanted to thank you. One, I feel like you are that person that sticks up for, for our people against a bully, and because it's really hard. And I've noticed the way they treat the Middle Easterns that are with you so differently. The anger in their face and the look on their face, it's you know, I'm thankful that you're exposing it, because we wouldn't have been able to see that side of them without you. People aren't able to see someone. Racism is so deep and hidden, you know, and you bring it out of them. And because of you, we're able to see that. It's just insane. Like, my jaw is on the floor when I'm watching some of these videos. Like, I'm Palestinian, so I mean, I'm American. You know, my ethnicity is Palestinian, and my dad is was one during the Nakba. So I mean, I know a lot about, you know, and I grew up with it all. But this is the first time in my life that I've actually seen people spew racist words so eloquently and so without fear, when normally they hide it, you know, so well, especially when it comes to other races and other cultures. But when it comes to us, it seems to be like a cultural norm that it's okay to say the things that they say are so heinous. And I want to thank you for that, because without you and your patience, because I wouldn't have that patience, I wouldn't be able to, you know, because it's so personal, it's so hard. And I really thank you for that, because you are giving a gift to the world. You're hand packaging a gift to the world and saying, like, look, this is who these people really are. Listen to what they're saying. And it's just insane. I mean, I'm just shocked at some of the stuff they say and the stuff they say to you. And that Nancy Pelosi one, that was classic. I mean, the names that she called you, you know, that just shows the world who she really is, you know, and for that, you know, you're pretty amazing. You and your whole team, just amazing. And just to see the way that they look at women wearing hijab and the way they talk to them, they just change completely into this like evil monster. And it's really scary. And I wanted to ask you one more question, just ask you a question on the, have you ever thought about lobbying for a bill on, like you were talking about, the anti-Islamophobia in the cafeteria meeting that you're gonna do, but have you thought about like rallying, like lobbying for like a bill? Or I don't know if you have people on your team that do that kind of thing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because tomorrow, after we have the people's hearing, we're going to be going around to the offices with a handout and asking them to do something about this, either a resolution or a bill. And we have with us representatives from CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, who have done such a great job exposing all the horrific increase in Islamophobia and anti-Palestinian hate. And so, yes, we do want to do that. I think it's very important, because every week we're seeing a new bill, a new letter, a new resolution about anti-Semitism, and it's amazing the lengths that they will go to. I mean, there is a bill out there to give the same kind of tax breaks to Americans who are fighting with the Israeli military as American soldiers get. I mean, insanity. There are bills now. There's one that would take away, if the universities don't crack down immediately on any encampments that might crop up in the future, they won't get any government funding. You know, I could go on and on. There are so many horrific bills that they introduce, that yes, we have to have something that is showing it from the side of people who are facing hatred for either their religion or their ethnicity, or for the pro-Palestinian views that they're putting forward.
Thank you very much, Pally Girl. Thank you very much, Medea. Appreciate you both. Julianne, K Happy, thank you. Court Size, you are next. Welcome to the show, Court Size, and go right ahead, my friend.
Thank you, Eric, for having me here. Hello, Medea. First time I'm interacting with you. I'm a small activist. I'm in America, but I'm from a region called Gilgit-Baltistan, which is inside Pakistan. Since Palestine had this issue when illegal Israel was put on top of Palestine, Kashmir, the part of Pakistan which became Gilgit-Baltistan as part of Pakistan, and then in India it became Kashmir, and we both have the trouble and the constitution. Without constitution, until today, we are inside the country in Pakistan. My questions to you that Palestine is in the Middle East. Yes, we are pro-Palestinian. We stand with our brother and sister, whatever the suffering. Your advocacy, your activism is highly appreciated. I do thank you for that. But what is that you can do, or what is in your thought process for the people of Kashmir on both India and Pakistan side? 1947 till today, I never voted in my life. We don't have a constitution. We don't have any Supreme Court judge. Maybe just because we are far away in the mountains, people do not hear us. So that's one of the questions. And then secondly, Palestinians, they do not have voice. So do you not have a voice. So how can you help the Palestinian that why can't nobody take them on the Western media whereas even there's 1,000 or 100,000 population, but there's still a human being? Why can't you not come on the state televisions, or why can't the Palestinian have no voice to say anything? And whereas someone from Israel can just fly to France, Europe, America, and can come on the big channel and give their point of views. Why can't the common citizens of Gaza, who do not even have the travel authority to travel into any countries to justify or talk about their pains and atrocity what they're facing? I'm going to continue. The third question: how can the
Courts. That's let her have those first couple questions first, my friend. Appreciate
So why
you.
don't I start on that? I think, yes, the issue of Kashmir is one that has been going on for so long and hidden from the public in the United States. So thank you for bringing that issue up. I have not worked on the Kashmir issue. I have worked on issue related to the way that the Pakistani government has been treating activists inside Pakistan, and how the U.S. has been involved with things like the coup, having General Musharraf come to power, pushing for Imran Khan to be arrested, and he's now imprisoned. The use of U.S. drones in areas like Waziristan in Pakistan that were killing innocent people. So I've done some work on the issues of Pakistan, and of course in India, the terrible oppression of the Muslim population. I tend to focus on where is the U.S. most involved, because as a U.S. citizen, I feel a responsibility. And that's why I put so much time into the issue about Israel, because Israel would not be able to carry out what it's doing now were it not for the U.S. weapons, the U.S. diplomatic cover, the U.S. support in general. And in terms of why can't Palestinians come on mainstream U.S. television, well, you know, it's the same question I would like to know. Why is it that somebody who has been accused of war crimes by the International Criminal Court is coming to Washington, D.C. on July 24th, and that is Benjamin Netanyahu, to address a joint session of Congress, which is an extreme privilege that most heads of state in the world never get to do. And this will be the fourth time for Benjamin Netanyahu. Why does that happen? Why is it that the defense minister, also accused of war crimes, just came to the United States and spent days here meeting with members of Congress, members of the administration, members of the Pentagon, and having access to the highest levels of our government instead of being arrested and taken to The Hague? So all of that shows that the media is working hand in glove with the administration and the two parties to keep the propaganda going, to try to make the American people sympathetic to Israel. But it is interesting that despite that, we've seen since October, that means in these last 8 months, that every poll that comes out talking about a ceasefire shows the American public do want a ceasefire. And that's one thing that gives me hope that Americans are tired of paying for these wars and would like to see an end to them.
Yes, and also Gallant, as you just mentioned, Gallant just came to America last week, everybody. He came to visit, he was inside the Pentagon. We had a foreign leader inside the Pentagon talking with Lloyd Austin, and also he went to see the head of the CIA and had a long conversation with Anthony Blinken, the Secretary of State. The fact that a foreign government has access like that is highly alarming, because obviously he's there to peddle influence.
And Eric, we found him in Congress and found out that he was going to visit with the head of the Education Committee, Virginia Fox.
Oh, I bet he was. I bet he
Using
was.
her bully pulpit to try to get all these deans of colleges fired. So imagine the defense minister of a country involved in a genocide going to meet with the head of the Education Committee in Congress.
Yes, that sort of access is reserved for people only high in American like the president and stuff. Like, it is insane that a foreign leader was able to just casually come to America and have that much access and influence. Absurd. And it really is revealing to the corruption and foreign influence in general of our entire government. Quartz-sized minerals, thank you super duper much. Alliances, you are next, my friend. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead, buddy.
Thank you, Eric. I love your smile, by the way. Whenever you do that, you smile and you give the thumbs up. I freaking love it. Look, Medea, I'll tell you what. I don't even know where to start, but I'm super happy that I am in your presence, just like a lot of us. Erik has become part of the family. We have become part of his family. You are part of that family, that greater family that, for me, represents what America is all about. The American dream is not the money. It's not the fame. It's standing for what's right. Even if it's late, but it's never too late for America. So for me, and to me, that came from somewhere, to settle in this, well, I'm not going to say settle because it's got a bad connotation, but I'm going to say that join this greater family of Americans. It's all about, like, you embody what I envisioned Americans are, just like Erik, just like Shelley, just like a lot of people. It's that free spirit. It's that coming to the defense of the defenseless and, let's say, the weakened, not the weak, just the weakened for so long, 75 years of trying to weaken those people, but they are still standing. And you are doing an awesome job. We see you represent, to me at least, me personally, the mom, the educator, the nurturer, the First Amendment, civics. That's the America that brought me here and that made me who I am today, halfway through my life. We really appreciate everything you do. Here's my question to you, so that way I don't take too much time of other people's time. We know that Erik and Shelley have direct contact with most likely the next president of the United States. If Erik and Shelley talk to her and say, "Hey, everybody's taking the Jill pill. How about Medea for VP?" Medea, I say good, or Medea. #good idea. Would you accept to be the next VP?
Medea, are you willing to be the next vice president of the United States?
No, thank you very much. I'm actually anxious to be retired. I retired last year, and I'm 71 now. I think that people should be passing on the baton to younger generations. And I've done that in Code Pink, where we have young people who are now leading the organization. And that happened. And I look forward to my retirement.
Medea, in American politics, 71 is considered too young nowadays, though.
There is a woman who is 86 in Congress, can't walk without a walker. There are a number of them who are 85 years old. There are two who are 86 who are running again for Congress, not giving up their seats. It is just insane. Certainly, there should be some kind of age limit. And if you want to be super, super generous, let's put it at 82.
That's Dianne Feinstein, I believe, was 92 years old when she passed away and was voting like within the past 2 days before she passed away of old age at 92.
Yeah,
so I
and she was
completely
not
agree.
really, and she wasn't with it. I mean, there are people who
We
at
heard.
92 are really sharp. She was not. And, we know what's happening to Biden, but it's also happening. For example, there's a woman who is the congresswoman for us here in D.C., Eleanor Holmes Norton. Come on, she's 86 years old. She should be retiring. There's so many wonderful people that take her place.
Yeah.
I don't
Pass the
understand
baton.
why these people just insist on keeping their positions long past their due date.
Dianne Feinstein also gave power of attorney to her daughter. She was not competent enough, so she gave power of attorney to her daughter, yet she was still voting in Congress. Somebody mentioned Mitch McConnell in the chat room. I agree with that one too. Thank you, Medea. All right, let me see. Mo Daddy, I believe it. Or Shelly, you had something to add really quick, Shelly? I'm sorry, but Mo Daddy wants to. Oh, no, she's good. All right, Mo Daddy, welcome to the show and go right ahead, Mo Daddy.
Assalamu alaikum, Erik Warsaw. But always good to have me on.
Alaikum salam, my friend.
Appreciate you of everything what you guys did to us. I came on here personally to. I'm so happy to see Medea on your your panel. Medea, I want to say as a Palestinian born and raised in America in New York, I want to tell you we support you, we love you and everything. All right, we appreciate you so much. Believe me, your voice and action did a big impact to the world. Understand? Especially you being around those people, the evil people that's been bought by AIPAC lobby. You understand? We appreciate you so much, and I love your videos, how you attack them. They can't even handle the heat from you. When you ask them a question, they look at you like, "Oh my God, this one again? What the hell?" But it's like you you get them confused. They don't know how to respond to you because you know how to give it to them. We appreciate you and love you. You're the inspiration to us. We love you, Medea. Don't stop, please. Okay, don't stop until we liberate Palestine. And Medea, I got a quick question for you. I heard you.
Can I say one thing before I forget?
Go ahead.
I know there's so many fabulous organizations in New York City, but we just started a new Code Pink chapter, and July 16th to 18th, we are focusing on the 3 Congress people in New York City that are so awful: Richie Torres, Hakeem Jeffries, and Gregory Meeks. All of them super important. And so anybody who lives in New York City and wants to get in touch with us, please go onto our website and hook up with the New York chapter and get involved in this July 16th to 18th. We're calling it Intervention Week. And we also have a new website called Bought by Zionism, where we give a lot of information, but you've got some of the worst people right there in New York City.
Of course. You're telling me I was born and raised there. I know these kind of people. These people are so corrupted that being bought by the AIPAC lobby, it's like their mentality is just one way, like whatever the AIPAC tells them what to do and say, you understand? But Medea, I really appreciate you so much. Like I said, I don't want to waste time over here. I want to give others to have a conversation with you. We love you, Medea, and I promise you, you have my attention on when you said July 16th. You said
yes.
I promise I will be there and I will support you all the way, just for the
Terrific.
Palestinian cause. And one other question, Medea, please say no. Run for president. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
No, and Erik, I do have to leave very soon to get ready for tomorrow. So maybe we could do 1 or 2 more.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And Mo Daddy, appreciate you very, very much. We'll hit up 2 more. And I got to all right. Yeah. And I was very, very shocked and sad to see that Jamal Bowman lost because he basically just lost only to money. So, yep, that's New York. Shiggles. What an awesome, awesome screen name. And you're next. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead for your question, Medea.
Hello, I'm nervous. Okay. First, I'd like to say, Medea, thank you so very much. And I'm emotional for taking the time to hear our voices tonight. For people like me, I've never had my voice heard like this. Okay. So, I'm 52. I'm a Gen Xer, and I want to know, what is your opinion on members of our government, our highest government, having dual citizenship with other countries? How is this legal and not a conflict of interest?
Well, I'm so glad you're on, and I love hearing your voice. And in terms of your question, to me, it's not so much the dual citizenship. It's, can you really go fight in another country's military? I don't understand how that is legal. You know, we have that Congressman Brian Mast, who has proudly gone to join the Israeli military and then come back and wear an Israeli military uniform in the U.S. Congress. And I said to him, you know, how can that be okay? And he says, well, Americans should be able to do whatever they want. I said, what if somebody goes to fight with Russia against Ukraine? And he says, well, that's a different story. I think they'd face a lot of problems when they came back. It should be totally illegal to fight in another country's military.
Yeah, that's the picture on the screen right there, everybody. Brian Mast in his IDF military uniform right there. I really got to say, the top 3 Code Pink videos that I've ever seen all involve Brian Mast. He is like a super villain bad guy. The stuff that comes out of that man's mouth, it's shocking. Oh, man, Brian Mast. Representative out of Florida, everybody, United States Congress. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Very, very much to our previous guest. And now we are at Manda with the panda bear and watermelon emoji. Welcome, Manda. Go right ahead.
Hello. It's so good to be here with you, Medea. And I just wanted to say, you yourself are a person with such great conviction. You know, you stand up for what you believe in, and in doing so, you inspire many others. A significant number of Americans are feeling neglected by our representatives and would like for our country to do and be better. But we tend to tread lightly along with the status quo, right? Because we see this as a lesser of 2 evils type of a situation. You know, we're just trying to, you know, we're fearful. What advice might you give to someone who wants real change to be accomplished, but fears the greater of 2 evils? What would you say to inspire people to act based on conviction and based on their values in the decisions that they make, politically and with their community?
Well, I would ask them what has really changed. When there's a change in the presidency, we still don't get a universal health care system. We still don't get a foreign policy that's not based on militarism. We still don't get policies that really address the climate crisis. I mean, it's the 2 parties that are the problem. And so at some point, you've got to recognize that the 2 parties are the evil, the 2 parties are the problem, that we've got to move beyond this 2-party system, and that the only way we're going to do it is if we get more people to open up their eyes to recognize that it's not a question of the better of 2 evils. It's a question of how do you get beyond the evil. And also to recognize that voting is such a minor part of what we should be doing as active citizens, that the most important thing is what we do in our communities, the kind of things that we build in our communities, the alternatives that we create, the education that we do, the mobilizing that we do. So I would say don't get so sucked up into these elections because in the end, they don't matter all that much. Put your energies into local organizing. If you like electoral politics, yeah, organizing on the local level electorally in electoral politics can be important. But I think more important is the kind of things that we can change in our own communities that actually affect people's lives, make their lives better. Things like union organizing, things like alternatives to the consumer society where we actually create cooperatives, where we have models of how we can live differently. There's so many things that we can be doing that are outside of the two-party military duopoly. And that's, I think, where it's best to put our energies.
Yes, thank you so much, Medea. And we thank you very, very much for swinging by the show. We are we're always having Code Pink videos on the show, and of course, you're the one who's talked about the most because we think you're like the most energetic of them all. You're the one who's always front and center. You're like 75% of all the videos that we show is you. So we super appreciate you coming to see all your fans. And thank you so much for swinging by, Medea. You're always welcome to the show. And we super appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. It's been a pleasure, a lot of fun. And I see now why you have such a big following and such a great following. I appreciate being on here. Best to all of you.
Appreciate you very, very much, Medea. Everybody, Medea, if you haven't already, I'm sure you have. Hit the follow button on Medea. Medea, you're always welcome back. Thank you so much once again.
Good night.
Good night.